Night racing's best bets are at Los Alamitos Racecourse. The Los Alamitos early and late pick fours with outstanding pools and big payouts. Here are some of our recent pools. The pool was over $214,000 on June 23rd and over $240,000 on May 26th. And the late pick four often has pools of over $150,000. And remember, our $10,000 pick six promo on Sundays. Night racing's best bets are at Los Alamitos, Saturday and Sunday nights.
And welcome everyone to the Los Alamitos preview show, and that's right, night racing's best bets here at Los Alamitos. And not only that, Michael Wrona is here at Los Alamitos as well, joined by Michael, Chris, Wade, and George Duarte here for the show. It's a big show for quarter horse racing because we're going to have trials for the Golden State Derby and the Florentine Stakes on Saturday, and also the Claiming Futurity on Sunday. But first, let's see how all of you guys are doing. Michael, how are you today?
Okay, but I'm still licking my wounds from last Saturday night. That pick of mine, Super 60, ironically broke inwards to bump Coley when Coley, the favourite, had the habit of breaking inwards. And I was on the right track trying to beat Coley because my horse actually did, just wasn't able to reel in the winner. My horse had the 7, Coley had the 5 hole. The 6 horse began very slowly, creating a vacuum, and Super 60 just broke inwards into that vacuum. And there's no question in my mind that she was best on the night, should have won, coming hard. But even though I beat the favourite, I still couldn't collect. I don't normally launch into such lengthy post-mortems, but it still irks me 5 days later as we record on a Thursday afternoon.
And Michael, I was not going to bring it up. I was not going to say a word, but you did. And you know what? What do we make of Coley? I mean, this horse showed so much talent in the workouts. Won, crossed the wire first in her first race, and got disqualified because going inwards. But since then, you know, what do we make of her? George, any thoughts on Coley? You watch the races so closely as the trackman here at Los Al.
Yeah, she just hasn't progressed. She worked good, ran 1590s, was about where most of the good horses were running at that time. And everybody else has taken steps forward, and she hasn't. She's just she did get bumped, but I mean she had plenty of time to get going, and still got outfinished by a horse that had more trouble in her. So you can't really give her too much excuse for last time.
On the opposite side, Apolitical Bet, just another tremendous performance, right, George?
Yeah, I mean, he got it done. It was never really a doubt. I mean, he just keeps improving, and he's one of those to look out for the run for the big money later on.
And Chris, you look at all the races around the nation very closely as well. We had trials for the All-American Futurity, the All-American Derby, the Oaks, but also here at Los Alamitos, some really nice, impressive efforts all around. Anything that stuck out for you as a memorable performance last weekend here at Los Al?
Well, we had some, when you're watching the races at Albuquerque, Rivalry at Albuquerque, that's some top-notch runners. Of course, he's got the look, has a big look to complete the triple. And horse had a ton of talent, lost all chance in his debut at Sam Houston, went to Rivalry, now Albuquerque, and just steadily improved. And very, very impressive. Good-looking horse. It's a big look at the outcome. And, of course, closing night this Saturday night at Retama Park. It's the closing night at San Antonio. And we got a couple of horses that we do like a little bit over there. You can check out our selections on the website and or on the racing program. And it's going to be a great weekend of racing. And I'm going to give a horse, one of those one more chance horses. Maybe he can get it done for me. And probably like the 4th or 5th time I've given him a chance. That's my selection on tonight's show in tonight's Florentine, the 9th and final.
Yeah, the Florentine Stakes is a really good field. 9 mares, fillies or mares in that race. And man, I had a really tough time coming up with just 3 of them because there's some horses that are in pretty good form. The horses with class are coming off of not so great races. One horse that I love at the beginning when she first came out here, our Ladys Dynasty, has not raced the entire year, but has done extremely well when she's been here at Los Al. Now in the barn of Heath Taylor, after being with Eddie Willis, if I remember correctly, early on. So it's going to be a really interesting Florentine Stakes. Of course, the main event of the weekend are the trials for the Golden State Derby. 23 sophomores will be in action in these 400-yard trials. Top 10 advance to the final. The purse in the final is going to be around $193,000 for this Grade 2 event. So a really nice bunch of money for grabs in the Golden State Derby. And the list of horses, we'll take a look at those horses thoroughly throughout the show. But just off the bat, you have BP Cartel Policy, who's been just tremendous, undefeated this year with some the winner in the Grade 1 Winter Derby and another really nice win in the Dillingham Handicap here at Los Al. We have Political Rivalry, a Grade 1 winner last year, and Mask Mandate, who ran the race of his life in the Governor's Cup Derby, is also part of the Golden State Derby trial. So we'll pick your brains throughout the show for each one of you. See who you like in particular to post a top time, to qualify, to surprise. We'll get to that throughout the show. Right now, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with Michael Wrona with his selection of the night.
Night racing's best bets are at Los Alamitos Racecourse. The Los Alamitos early and late pick fours with outstanding pools and big payouts. Here are some of our recent pools. The pool is over $214,000 on June 23rd. And over $240,000 on May 26th. And the late pick four often has pools of over $150,000. And remember, our $10,000 pick six promo on Sundays. Night racing's best bets are at Los Alamitos, Saturday and Sunday nights.
And we're back here with Michael Wrona. Michael, we have some really nice trials to the Golden State Derby. There's going to be 3 of them on Saturday night. There are races 6, 7, and 8, and we close out the card with the 9-horse field in the Florentine Stakes. Really quickly, I'll bring up the PPs for the Golden State Derby trials because it is just loaded with really nice sophomores. Here's race number 6, Kicking Famous, coming off of the El Primero. You see that winner of the Governor's Cup Futurity last year, coming off of a solid fourth in the Governor's Cup Derby. He was 6-1 in that race. The race won by the long shot Mask Mandate. Here's a couple of more horses. The Optical Illusion, one of 2 horses that ran in the $2 million last year that will be running in the Golden State Derby trials here on Saturday. Think Again Kev is the other one that ran in the $2 million last year. So they hook up in this opening trial. I've always liked Freddie, really talented horse. We'll be looking at some workouts as well on these horses. There's race 7, Michael, and this is a really good trial. BP Cartel Policy, you can see them right there, 3 for 3, going against Mask Mandate. Cheater was so impressive in that race. Was he one of the most impressive winners on that California Breeders' Champions Night, winning by a length and a quarter?
Yeah, that was in the Gens list, I think, and it was a very impressive win out of the inside gate. He's come back very nicely for the second half of his 3-year-old season. He's still very promising. A lot more to offer, I think.
Yeah, and he's undefeated this year. He's won both of his races. So this is going to be a really good test for him because he's going against some of the best. BP Cartel Policy, you could say he's the top 3-year-old right now on the grounds. I can't think of anybody else that could make that claim as strong as he can. And Rockin With Energy, probably one of the top fillies, the sophomore fillies here at Los Al, winning the California Breeders' Debutante by 1 1/4 lengths. Of course, the winner of the Oaks would have to be the top 3-year-old filly here at Los Al. That being the great Asher, who's been in New Mexico, spending some time in New Mexico. Here's race number 8, trial number 8. This is a pretty wide open race, but then you have here Political Rivalry at 8-5. Ran 4th in his last trial at Ruidoso. That was the Ruidoso Derby trials, and after running 9th, a pretty surprising effort in the El Primero, because he was the big favorite in that race. Ended up finishing 9th. Here's a couple of more horses in this race. Kevin's Wise Corona with a nice half-length victory, and a couple of other horses in here. But Michael, here's the Florentine Handicap. Anything that stands out to you in this race for fillies and mares?
Yeah, just before we move from the Derby trials, Orlando, one horse that really interests me is in the first trial, the 6th I would label him a trials specialist. It's just uncanny how he fires a big shot seemingly every time we have trials, but he hasn't been able to convert it in the 3-week turnaround to the big dance. He has qualified to 3 futurities and 1 derby. The Kindergarten, the Golden State Million, and the Losal 2 Million futurities last year. Not just qualifying to those races, but winning his trial to each of those races. And most recently, at Delta Downs, he won a trial to a Grade 3 Derby. But again, he didn't produce in the final. So I just find it intriguing. The blinkers are coming off. I just wonder if one of these days, Think Again Kev can put together back-to-back performances, linking a trial to the final.
Yeah, it's just odd when that happens. You know, you see these horses that make every single dance, and just they lose the slipper, right? They just can't find that glass slipper in the final. But then again, he's made over $100,000. Think Again, Kev, during a career, and he's got all those nice efforts throughout. Moving forward now, or back to the later races here in race 9, the Florentine Handicap. You have a top selection in this race, Michael.
I do, yeah. I'm excited to see Our Ladys Dynasty reappearing at Los Alamitos. You made mention of her in the opening segment today. Really created a strong impression the previous stint that she had at Los Alamitos. That was near the end of her 2-year-old season in 2022. She won trials to both the Golden State Million and the 2 Million futurities, and then she finished second. She wasn't fast enough to qualify for the big races, but she did finish a close second in that consolation race to the 2 Million futurity. And more recently, as a 3-year-old, beaten just ahead in the Heritage Place Oaks. She's a classy filly going for Heath Taylor for the first time as she returns as a 4-year-old.
Yeah, I really like this filly, like I mentioned. And we have actually a workout that we can show from recently for Our Ladys Dynasty. It's actually on June 22nd. That was a 12.5 gate drill here at Los Al. She's actually had 3 workouts here since June the 6th. This is the only gate work here that she had June 22nd in a couple of turn and work. So how about we take a look at that gate work here at Los Al. And after that, we're going to take a look at a race. The last time she ran here at Los Alamitos, that would be, or one of the last times that she ran here at Los Alamitos, October 9th of 2022. So let's take a look at this workout here from Our Ladys Dynasty. So here's the workout, Michael. Again, like I mentioned, June 22nd is a 12.5 gate drill. Here is a solo drill by Our Ladys Dynasty. And now one thing to note here is that she is using the flipping halter, and you'll see her in that flipping halter, and she's going to be rocking her head back and forth. But, you know, from there, she's going to kind of break in a little bit, but she's going to level out so quickly there. And from there, she just continues on a very easy going ride. So there's where she kind of breaks in just a little bit, but leveled out really nicely. And look at the way the rider's just kind of just sitting there on her, letting her do all the work on her own. And as she goes to the finish line, the rider's even on a lighter ride on her. So they just pretty much let her do what she wanted to do there. Very light break in there. And other than that, pretty nice effort getting her ready to debut here at Los Alamitos after a bit of a long layoff here for Our Ladys Dynasty. And we also have a race here for this nice filly. We'll take a look at that as well. And we also have this race here for Our Ladys Dynasty, Michael. This is back on October the 9th, a trial to the Golden State Futurity back in 2022, October the 9th.
We had gate 4 in this event, and I thought she dug in really gamely late to get to Ain't He Tempting.
All right, let's play it, and then we'll come back and kind of look at it again just to kind of take a little bit of a closer look at our Ladys Dynasty.
She's always had a touch of class. She's been off a long time. I really liked that gate work that you showed us a few minutes ago, the 12.5. She was most certainly not asked for her best in that gate work. I thought that she had plenty more to offer. Now, as noted in the Nightlines comments by George Duarte, Our Ladys Dynasty was entered and scratched from what would have been her seasonal debut back on July 14. But I'm not too concerned about her condition because she came back with a really sharp turn and work just 3 days later.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That workout that she came back on, the time was at 12:4. So I'm assuming that maybe they pushed her a little bit more of a timer on that one for Our Ladys Dynasty. So that will be part of the Florentine Stakes here on Saturday night. Race number 9, $25,000 on the line in the Florentine Stakes here at Los Alamitos. Anything else from that race that stands out for you, Michael?
No, it's a good, solid field, as all of these filly and mare stakes are in the excellent Los Al program for the distaffers. There are several horses that I've chased and certainly who can feature strongly if they put their best foot forward, but a lot of them don't begin very consistently or reliably. And I think the horse that Chris is going to talk about falls into that category. A horse that I actually liked a lot last time out. And so I'm happy to be in the camp of Our Ladys Dynasty, keen to see what she can do first out for the Taylor barn as a 4-year-old.
I agree with you. There's going to be some really interesting contenders here. Phoebe's Baby Girl is one that I think has a little bit of a shot here, drawing that outside post. And with Gabriel Lara up as well. Tina Rena, stakes winner here on Los Al, won the Connie Hall Stakes. And Frivolous is one other mare that is worth a big time look. 4-1 on the morning line here, won the Dashingly at the beginning of the year. So we'll talk a little bit more.
Since we were talking about 2022 with Our Ladys Dynasty, don't forget that in that year, Frivolous won the Governor's Cup Futurity.
Yeah, she sure did, and came back and qualified to the PCQHRA Breeders' Futurity as well. And Felix Gonzalez, he won a race last week, so that leaves him one shy of 1,000 combined wins here at Los Alamitos with his thoroughbreds and quarter horses. So she's giving him, Frivolous has given Felix some special wins. She could give him one more here on Saturday night. Thank you so much, Michael. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and we'll be seeing you this weekend here at Los Al.
Looking forward to it, mate. Hooroo.
The traditional $2 pick six at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a pick six carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the pick six pool. Every Sunday night, we'll have either a pick six carryover or the 10,000 pick six promo, leading to gigantic total pools like the $286,000 pool on May 19th and over $269,000 on June 8th. The traditional $2 pick six, a great bet, a great deal, always at Los Alamitos.
And we're back here in the preview show for Saturday night at Los Al. We talked a little bit with Michael Wrona about the Florentine handicap, and we'll continue to talk about this race here. Now joined by George Duarte and Christopher Wade. Race 9, the Florentine handicap. George, what do you think of this race?
I think it's very interesting. You got ones coming off a layoff, and then you got some shipping in and off a layoff. So it's one of those that, I wouldn't be surprised if a price wins, even though I'm not picking a price in this race. Like, my top pick is Our Ladys Dynasty, the 6 horse. But it wouldn't surprise me if the 4 shipping in from Remington pops up and wins first time over the track. Frivolous is really talented along the rail. She can get it done as well. And then you got Wise Lady Dawn, the female version of Optical Illusion, always finding trouble and finishing well late. And then I would use for the supers that should be a price is Phoebe's Cartel. Phoebe's what's her name? Phoebe's
the outside horse.
The outside horse. Phoebe's baby girl. There we go. Yeah, she's quick, and I think second off the layoff should finish better. And she has the outside, so she should get a clean trip. So that's one I would not leave off your super practice.
Yeah, and that race was at 350 yards going against Ninfet, and she was right there in the thick of the action. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, we talked about that race and how close it was there at the end with Ninfet just gutting it out for that victory. Chris, you have a selection for this race, and I think you're gonna do it this week with the with the horse that you've been chasing. Wise Lady Donna, 5-1. With Jesus Rios Ayala. I like that selection. Chris, tell me about it.
Yeah, this is a horse that on my numbers, on my computer sheet, we go 12 races. And of the 12 races, this horse has been a W, which equates to a horse to watch in 11 of said 12 events. This horse is a trouble prone deluxe, has a ton of talent, but is her own worst enemy. She always finds trouble, as she did last time when she broke slow and drifted out, but was finished like an absolute freight train. If she could ever kind of like lean in at the start and get away from the gate in decent fashion, she very well could be a big factor in that Florentine Stakes. It's a closely matched affair. You got the shipper coming in at the Our Ladys Dynasty. You work well. The connections are 37% off all layouts of this length. And, of course, you got Frivolous, who's very, very good on one of her nights. It's a closely matched event, but the Wise Lady on one of these nights, I got to give her a look, and hopefully she can break in decent fashion, not have too much ground to make up. She's got a good look at the outcome. And a closely matched affair, and, of course, Just Call Me Candy coming in from Remington Park has some quality figures from those events as a look in the outcome as well.
Well, with Wise Lady Dawn, we've seen her not break that great and still win races. So if she can break like she did back in December 18 of 2022, she broke on top, got bumped, and still won by a head. If she can do that once more, she's going to win this race. No doubt about that in my mind. And again, she's had races where she has not broken as great. That happened to her June 24th, 2023, and also February 5th, 2023. She didn't break that great, but still won. And won with room to spare. So Wise Lady Dawn, one to watch. We'll go ahead and take a look at her last. You want to take a look at her last outing, Chris? That would be July 14th, race number 8.
Yeah, she got a little fractures, kind of back bobbled and skied a little bit, was slow on the stride, but you can see her finish very strongly on her own. She's a big-bodied runner, and if she gets away halfway decent, you got to look at the outcome.
Okay, I'll go ahead and I'll pull up the race, and you can kind of walk me through that outing. Okay, and here it is, race number 8, back on July 14th. It's a big field of runners here at Los Al, 8 of them, but she's going to be on the outside, breaking from post number 9. I'll go ahead and hit play, Chris, and you can walk us through Wise Lady Dawn's effort back on July 14th.
Yeah, she's moving around just a little bit in the gate, and she's going to break a little bit slow, kind of lean back and skeet out, head cocked a little sideways, lost the length and a quarter at the very least, kind of slow on the stride. She's way back. She's at Schwannevelt right now, but she's finishing very, very strongly on her own. And the window is long gone, and she did run very well. She galloped out very strong, and she has a lot of talent. She always seems to find some strife along the way. But one of these nights, she's going to break in a decent fashion, and got to give her one more chance for the 6th consecutive time, basically. But invariably, whenever you give up on them, they come back and score. But she's got a lot of talent. She's a nice-sized individual. And if she just gets away decent fashion, look how big she is. She's a runner. If she can just get away clean, and she's had some trouble away from the gate and still won with speed to spare. So the talent's there. It's just a matter of getting out in decent fashion and show that ability.
Looked like she was kind of going a little bit sideways there, like her body, just the way the body was positioned, looked like she was little bit sideways, and it took her a while just to kind of get her head just straight pointing to the finish line. And once she did, looked like that's when she really started picking up her stride and made it really close there for third.
Yeah, like I said, she's if a drama between horse, if she gets away clean, she's got to look at the outcome in that particular event. And she, like I said, her last 12 starts on my chart, she's been a horse to watch 11 of those, and maybe she can get the job done. She's done it before with some trouble, and she got to look at the outcome for Paul Jones and company.
I mentioned when I was talking to Michael that I wanted to show Frivolous workout. We haven't seen Frivolous here at Los Al in a while, since February 24th. That was their last out, and it was not a very good out. Finished 7th in the Denim and Diamonds handicap there, and she was 13-1. That was a pretty tough field. But let's take a look at Frivolous gate work here. Here's her workout. That would be on July 31st. It's going to be at 350 yards, and she's going to go 18 flat in here. She was also moving around in the gate a little bit before the start. She was leading to her right when the gate opened, but she still broke pretty cleanly. It took her a few strides to find her rhythm. She was picking up speed in a hurry, still angled towards the inside. You kind of see her moving in there, but past the gap, she was just full of run there. And that's when the rider just kind of let her do the work on her own, and she continued pretty strongly to the wire and was never pushed. Never pushed after that start when they were trying to just kind of get her to pick up her stride there. So pretty good work, I thought, from Frivolous here as she prepares for that return. You can see her moving around, head a little bit up, it looked like, and that's when she's kind of going to go inside, just about right there. That was like her main mistake in here, but you can see how the rider just sitting nicely on her. So
yeah,
that was Frivolous workout there on July 31st. I think she, if she can regain that form that she had at the beginning of the year, I think that's another one that can take care of business in the Florentine.
Yeah, that was a very impressive workout. I'm gonna give that workout an A-.
That's it.
Just an A-?
Huh?
Just an A-? No.
Okay. I was gonna say A- plus, but very impressive.
I agree. That's what I would give her.
And a quick note on Wisely Dawn with Ayala aboard, she is 2 for 2. So that has Chris going for it. She's reunited again with Ayala, so maybe he has the keys to her.
Yeah,
excellent. All right, let's talk a little bit more about those trials, the Golden State Derby trials. We got 3 really, really nice trials here at Los Al. Any horse that you really, really, really like, Chris, in the trials?
Well, it's optical illusion's always going to have a look at the outcome. Got to give the horse a start. I know she's a slow breaker. One of these nights she'll break. I'm not going to say she's the horse to beat. She's got a chance to get a slice of the pie at a prize in that first trial. My top pick in that race is going to be Kicking Famous, and the second number is going to be Thinking King Kev in that first trial.
Okay, so Optical Illusion. I mentioned that he was one of 2 horses in these trials that ran in the 2 million, and man, did he run in the 2 million. He finished 3rd in that race against Train Station V and 5 Bar Supreme, and Optical Illusion at 25-1 got show money in that rich race. George, what do you think about race number 6?
Well, I'm glad to see Chris didn't pick Optical Illusion on top. He held to his word. And I'm going with Kicking Famous. I think, if you look at his running line, he's been running since he didn't get a break from July all the way until March. Finally got a break, in between with a long campaign. He comes back with 2 really good workouts. I really like them. He draws the rail, has done well from the rail. It's facing, I think only maybe the most likely post-time favorite and Thinking Again Kev is the only one that other horse in this field that truly wants 400 yards besides, the slow breaking Optical Illusion. But I think he's going to be up there close and then just, out finish them. He's He's fresh. He's ready. You know, Flores likes to win these, you know, midsummer derbies, and you know he knows how to get them ready. I like the post draw. I like who's drawn next to. For me, there's a lot of like. You know, favorite nuke. If I go through a few horses, you see that. You know, the 2-horse. He hasn't really progressed since that first race off the layoff. Favorite nuke has, you know, regrets since the El Primero del Año Derby. Optical Illusion, we already know him. HRH World Cartel has some ability. I just, you know, he just hasn't, you know, taken that next step forward to be able to compete against the Derby types. Thinking again, Kev, I mean, his last race, you know, you can ignore that comment of broke in, no leg kick. He broke in, bumped sideways. Then, if I remember correctly, I drifted. Rival crowded him. He had to alter out. It was a tough trip that he had no chance in. And Freddie was gelded last out. You know, he broke a bit slow, and that's, you know, once Freddie got slow, you know, Freddie broke slow. He had no chance. He's a horse that likes to be out front. So he might surprise, you know, he draws well, but I don't think his best distance is 400 yards. So he would be a horse I would use for probably third and fourth as a semi-price play, I guess you would say.
You know what's interesting about Think Again, Kev? Michael alluded to it, how much success he's had in trial races. He's gonna race without blinkers in this particular trial, so I find that a little bit interesting there for Think Again, Kev. But again, George, you're saying that your top selection in race 6 is the one, Kicking Famous.
Yes. I really think he needed that break, and then he's, you know, with that mindset of I'm thinking he needs a good break, and then he comes back with 2 strong works last month. I think you know, confirmed that, you know, that he needed that break because he's coming back, you know, looking like he's breathing fire.
Do you want to look at a race, a workout, or both on Kicking Famous?
The last race wasn't that exciting. I would just show the work, just show how much run he had.
All right, let me pull up that workout right now, and we'll talk about Kicking Famous. I'll let you describe the workout if that's all right with you.
That's fine.
All right, here's the workout. Kicking Famous, working here on. Let me turn my pages back.
July 27th.
July 27th. This is going to be a 17.9 gate work. It's actually tied for the fastest of the morning. I'll go ahead and play, and you walk us through this, George.
So he gets away well. You know, he broke in a little bit, but that's fine. And then he just, you know, he's steering him a bit early and not really asking for anything. And, you know, he finished, you know, full run. He has no problem getting the extra yardage. And, you know, prior to this, he did a quick 12 flat work. So they knew they just didn't need much. They just wanted to get a little fitness in him, you know, because he's going 400 yards. I'm pretty sure they didn't want just 220 work going into the race. So I like everything I saw. He was a little green early, but, I mean, I think it was more about the rider trying to make sure not to let him do too much early, which caused the greenness. So that's why it doesn't bother me.
All right, that's a good look at race number 6, which is the opening trial to the Golden State Derby. Let's go ahead and take a look at race number 7. And this race has the big star. We've been talking about him quite a bit already on the show. The big star, of course, BP Cartel Policy. He is breaking from post number 2 here with a 3-race win streak. Last out, won by 2.5 lengths. But George, last California Breeders' Champions Night, I asked who stood out as the horse of the night, and you said Rockin With Energy. And now Rockin With Energy is hooking up with the 3-year-old of the year so far, BP Cartel Policy.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited to see her in the entries, and then I was not excited as soon as I saw the horse draw next to her. You know, but that's, you know, how it goes sometimes. You get at Los Al, the trials are competitive, and she caught, easily the best 3-year-old on the grounds. But, you know, she was so impressive last time, and all her races where she has clean starts have been impressive to me. So, you know, she's going to get that test today, tonight, to see if she can handle, the best. You know, in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. So, I'm going to go too deep because I cannot have her win, after being so high on her. So I will be going too deep in the pick fours here. But this race is loaded. I mean, you have Cheater, who's come back, has plenty of upside too. One clear, last out in that Cal Stakes night as well. And, this race has, I would say, more than half of the main contenders for the final in it. So it's almost like a pseudo final here. It's a tough race, but I'm really looking forward to it. And I will be rooting for Rockin With Energy, even though it's going to be a tough task.
Chris, you're always finding those nice price plays. Can you find a good price play here in this trial?
It's kind of tough because the number on BP Cartel Policy is very, very impressive. The horse on my charts is something along the lines of a 67, 70 with trouble track variant. The closest thing to the horse, that horse on my charts is the rail runner on the inside, Rockin With Energy, who won well as a crush last time and earned a very good figure off a solid A workout prior. So it looks like on my numbers, it's the inside two horses in this event. And of course, you got Cheater, a horse that just keeps moving forward. Could be a little bit of a stab here because the horse is just getting better, bigger, better, faster, stronger at every start. And strode out very strongly last time and has looked to grab a slice of the pie. But on the numbers thus far, inside two, BP Cartel Policy looking for another victory. And, of course, Rockin With Energy, who crushed last time and did it very impressively and galloped out very, very strong. 400 yards right up this horse's alley.
Looking at Rockin With Energy compared to Cheater's time in the Gents list. Gents list time for Cheater at 400 yards, 20.05. I think that may have been the only time he's gone 400 yards.
Yeah, that was first time.
Meanwhile, Rockin With Energy, she's got experience at this distance, and it's at 2017, 2011, 2013. The Winter Derby, she had a little trouble. She went 21.02. But those times right there, 2013, 2011, 2017, all those have happened in the months of October, November, January, a little bit thicker air, perhaps than when Cheater ran in the middle of summer in the California Breeders' Champions Night Gents list. So it'll be interesting to see. It's got to be tough to beat BP Cartel Policy, but it'd be interesting to see just from a match race standpoint, Rockin With Energy against Cheater. I do have a workout for BP Cartel Policy, so I'll go ahead and I'll bring that up and we can take a look at BP Cartel Policy's work. That also happened on July 27th. That was a 12.2 clocking. All right, here's BP Cartel Policy in the gate work, and you can see there the assistant starter tying up the flipping halter there for BP Cartel Policy. He was a little bit antsy before that. He just couldn't wait to get going, I thought. And once the gate opened, he broke a little sideways and went towards the inside. But he was flying under a very light urging there. The time cruised at 12.2, and he just continued under a hand right in after crossing that 116 pole. Very easy work, and you can see it right there. They just got a good grab on BP Cartel Policy. So we'll take one more look at that work. The horse just could not wait to get going, and but did break in a little bit there. Didn't ask him too much, and again went 12.2. You like him more after watching that workout, George?
I wasn't really concerned as long as I didn't see any negatives. With this horse that you've seen how much he's done, during the races, that I wasn't really worried about work. I just wanted to see something. You gave him a token ride. It was just maintenance. You don't win any money in the morning. So for me, it wasn't a positive. It wasn't a negative. It was just he's still firing all cylinders. The way I look at it.
It was getting, it was checking the mark, right? Like just a check mark on he needed a workout. He got it done. Everything went smooth. Good time. He's ready.
As long as the stride is smooth and is not getting really fractures in the gait, that's all I look forward to. If I see something in the stride where he looks a little like tiring or something, maybe lacks fitness, then there would be a concern. But he looked smooth. He finished out. He was full of run, around the turn. Yeah. So he's fine.
Same with you, Chris.
That was a very nice workout, nice prep for the return off the 98-day layoff, and horse has a big look at the outcome. Can fire fresh, big workout, definitely the one to beat as the deserved favorite in trial number 2.
All right, we'll call up now the PPs for the final trial, race number 8. Another solid group with one standout here, number 4, Political Rivalry, 8-5 on the morning line, but coming off of 2 of his less impressive races, let's just call it that. Ran 9th in the El Primero del Año Derby, ran 4th in a trial at Redosto Downs. Lost to Asher in that race. Asher, the Oaks winner here, finished ahead of Political Rivalry. Thoughts on this trial? Let's start with you, Chris.
Yeah, Political Rivalry. On the numbers, definitely the one to beat on the ship in. And connections are very good with horses coming back to Los Alamitos. So definitely on the numbers, the one to beat. Kevin's Wise Corona has a look as my second choice in that affair. Actually, excuse me. He's a good reason to lay outside to be my second choice in the third and final trial. Then we'll go to the 6th. Kevin's Wise Corona. And of course, Cowgirl Up will have a bit of a look at grab a slice of the pie as well.
You can't go wrong with either one of them because they both coming off of allowance wins. He's a good reason. Won by 3/4 of a length. His was at 300 yards. Kevin's Wise Corona went 350, won by a half a length, but was always in control of that race. George, Political Rivalry, the standout here. You gonna be looking to beat him?
On paper, he is a standout. I mean, he's won 7 out of 10, but for me, every time since, I would say since Ed Burke, I've always thought he would not like 400 yards. And, he did prove me wrong over a wet fast track, on March 3rd, won 400. But I think that was semi-aided by the track. And he got away really well that race. But I think that also kind of carried him. He had that really good momentum from the start. And then, last time over there at Ruidoso, he couldn't compete with those. I mean, he did split the field in a solid field. I mean, it had AJ, Precious Jewel, and Asher. So that was a solid field. But for the pick 4, this is a horse I would try to beat. I see value in the outside horse. He's a good reason. He came back off the layoff with a good effort. I thought he went pretty professionally. Like I said earlier, Jose Flores knows how to win these midsummer derbies. Put in an 18-1 work where he wasn't asked really for anything. So I think he's live, to put up the upset. Also, I also like for a longer shot, if you want to spread, is Remember John Along the Rail. I've always liked this horse. He's kind of like my optical illusion. I always use him. He always loses for me, but I always keep using him. And he guts the rail. He draws next to a horse that isn't that quick early in verbosity. So I think he can get a good trip along the rail. Pinato's been riding really good. And also, I'll give another chance to Cowgirl Up. She has plenty of talent. She just, for some reason, I don't know. She turned into like the Chuck Knobloch of corridor. She just cannot get out of the gate after, she got the yips. The last 3 times, it's just, she goes from breaking really well to breaking horribly. So hopefully she, gets a Yala again. Hopefully she can get out because she has plenty of talent. She has the talent to get it done in this field. But she just needs to get her act together from the start.
You mentioned Oscar Peinado, and he was riding for many years. He was just riding so many horses for Jaime Gomez. Now he's riding for a lot of different barns, but he's still an 18% win ratio for Oscar Peinado. He was 17% last year, so he's still just riding solid every time he's on a horse. I do have a gate work for Political Rivalry. That happened on July 27th. It was a 17.9, same clocking as Kicking Famous, if I remember correctly. So let's go ahead and bring up that workout and take a look at Political Rivalry, and then I'll ask you if you like him more, like him less after the work. Again, wearing the flipping halter there. But he was very comfortable and quiet standing in that gate right there. He dipped down a little bit just to launch himself out of the gate, and you can just see how quickly he's picking up speed. Another very quiet ride, probably one of the quietest that we've seen in any of these workouts here. And he just looked so strong as he approached the wire and just continued to hold that nice speed in that gallop out. Just never, ever pushed at all in this gate work. You can see him now relaxing as he's going around the turn. So I'll start with you, Chris. What do you think of this workout? You like him more after watching this work?
That was a nice workout, the horse. Kind of bobbled just a little bit away from the gate, but showed solid speed. Was never really pushed along, and striding out very strong. Very impressive workout. And like I said, the connections are very good, bringing horses back off these little mini runs, especially coming back from Rivalry. So big look, deserved favorite. Has a look at the outcome, and probably is the one to beat. But it's a closely matched affair with everything factored in. So I'm going to give a look like George, try to spread a little bit in the pick four to get a price, but definitely is a big look and a very impressive drill.
George?
I mean, to me, that might have been the most impressive part of that work is how straight he ran. You can see like the color change on the track, and you can follow him, and he just ran straight as a string. Like you can see, if you see right here, if you just look at there's a darker shade of dirt on his outside, and he just runs right along it the whole time. He runs nice and straight. But my problem is, if this race was 350 yards, I would pick him on top. I just think those final 50 yards are going to get him. In his PCQHRA Derby race, I really like, what made me even more positive that he would win at 400 yards was his gallop out after that race. So to me, this workout is another one that, I expected it to be a good one. So it doesn't dissuade me to go against it.
Well, Class D horse here did everything he needed to do in that gate work, and that's what you want to see from these horses that we talk about, that they look like they're in form, and that's exactly what's happening. We see that with DP Cartel Policy and Political Rivalry keeping famous in their workouts, and we see it on their last races from horses like Rockin With Energy and Mask Mandate and Cheater and a couple of others that will be in action on Golden State Derby Trial Night. Again, 23 runners will be in action in trials for the Golden State Derby. Top 10 advance to the Grade 2 final. It should be a good one. And don't forget the Florentine Stakes on Saturday night as well to close out the Saturday evening card. Thank you so much for joining us, George, Chris. Hope you guys have a great night. And thank you to everybody that watched the Los Alamitos preview show. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, boss.
Yeah.
The traditional $2 pick six at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a pick six carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the pick six pool. Every Sunday night, we'll have either a pick six carryover or the 10,000 pick six promo, leading to gigantic total pools like the $286,000 pool on May 19th and over $269,000 on June 8th. The traditional $2 pick six, a great bet, a great deal, always at Los Alamitos.